This video shows how to change the number and threading of threads in your designs with Not So Rigid Designer. I've added these white stripes to this pattern to help see what's going on when I add and remove threads. And to show what happens in the 2 heddle case, or the 3 heddle case, I've added 2 heddles. To change the threads, in the warp, we want to choose a hole, a slot, or add hole and slot in the warp area over here. So if I want to add a hole thread, if I click in this heddle, it'll add a hole. It'll add a column with a hole in the heddle that I clicked on to the right of where I clicked on it in the same color as the thread that I clicked on. If I want to add a slot, it'll again add to the right with a slot in both heddles. I can also, as a convenience, add a hole and a slot together. So if I click on a slot, that'll alternate a hole and a slot. And if I click on a hole, it'll add a hole and a slot in more of a basket weave texture. So then if I want to go and change those holes and slots around, I can select toggle hole and slot. So if I click on a hole, it'll turn that into a thread that goes through slots in both heddles. If I click on a slot where there's a slot in both heddles, it'll add a hole to the heddle that I click on. Finally, if I click on a slot in a heddle where in a column where is already a hole, it'll move the hole to where the heddle that I clicked on, because the thread can only go through a hole in one heddle. Finally, to remove threads, I click the remove button, and then I click in the heddle area on the threads that I want to remove, and they're highlighted in red. To edit the weft, it's much simpler because there's only 2 actions, add and remove. So if I click on the weft, it'll add a row of weaving below the square that I clicked on. And when I'm in add mode, the squares are highlighted in green. To remove a weft, the squares will be highlighted in red, and it'll remove the row that I clicked on. To go back to changing your shed, click the edit button, and you can then alter the weaving sequence. I hope this shows you how to add and remove threads using Not So Rigid Designer.